Hi, girls. Welcome back to another episode of Girls Like Me. Today, I just wanted to have like little cutesy vibes and actually catch up with the girls because so many of you keep DMing me about like what's actually going on in my life and all of this stuff. And to be honest, I feel like I've been like avoiding all these kind of topics and conversations, but you guys are kind of getting it out of me. I did put like a questions up on my Instagram about what you guys wanted to see, and it was a mix of business, my dating life, and then my dream life. So I thought, do you know what? Let me get into it. Where do I even start, guys, with what's been going on with me? Obviously, like, I've started the podcast. I have been running my business and stuff like that. Like, it's all been a bit of a whirlwind. Business wise, what has been going on for me? So obviously at the beginning of the year, I was managing a lot more properties. I let some of them go just because mentally I was going through it. Obviously I was going through my breakup. That was all kind of fresh and I just needed a bit of time. And I think when you are like a business owner and you run your own business, sometimes it was just me by myself on my laptop, and I just thought I needed to actually be around people. So I got an office job, as you guys know. I posted a video about what I do. I'm currently working recruitment. I say currently, I don't think it's going to be for very long at this rate. At the beginning it was going really well. Like, obviously it's a sales role, wanted to challenge myself and whatever else, even though I feel like it's not really been much of a challenge because obviously they don't know that I've been doing this business, everything else, and I've still been like hitting my targets. Like this month I got 93% and I haven't even tried. So I was like, is this actually much of a challenge? But for me it's been like more about environment wise. Like, I don't know, girls, like sometimes when I'm just in a 9 to 5 environment, it just doesn't feel very nice. Like, I don't know. And the whole annual leave situation, I'm not born for 28 days annual leave. I don't know who is or who created that, but they need to die because I swear to God, my annual leave, bearing in mind we're in September, my annual leave goes August till August. And please tell me why I've only got 12 days left of the year. And I've literally only had off a few days in August and I've got 5 days booked so far. That's it. And I've got 12 days for the rest of the year. They don't know it yet, but I've got another 3 holidays planned. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. So yeah, I'm looking at other avenues because I'll be honest with you guys, financially at the moment, I probably could live off the money that my business makes and that would be great, but I'd be scrimping and scraping. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to pretend, girls, that I've got it like that because I haven't. I wish I have. So I've been looking at like part-time jobs. I've even applied at like a few supermarkets and stuff just to see what's what and just get something in part-time. But yeah, essentially over the past like few months, I've just been thinking like business-wise, like I'm actually going to give it my all. And there's a few things that obviously I wanted to get like set up, which are now sort of set up. So yeah, just prepping for like the new year and getting everything in order across the 2 different businesses. So yeah, it's not just one anymore, it's 2. And I kind of have been finding my feet, but at the beginning of the year, obviously, if you were to ask me like what the fuck is going on, I would have told you like I have no clue. But now I feel like it's all kind of happened for a reason, and it's all just like, I don't know, falling into place, and I'm really here for it because it feels right and it feels natural. But also I feel like I'm entering an era. Do you say era or era? I feel like it's era. I'm entering an era where I'm going to make some serious money, and I'm just like, I'm going to make some serious money because I said to myself, obviously I wanted to make 10k per month. That was my goal. And I feel like I am actually going to be achieving that very soon. Chase is just pissing about here, ruining my set. But yeah, I just feel like I'm serious about it, and I'm just like, no. And I think when you are an entrepreneur or like you're in your business, I've been sat there working 40 hours a week, like staying a bit late or coming in half an hour early. And then when it comes to the business, I'm like, oh, I just made like 2 grand within the space of 20 minutes. So why the fuck am I at work? Do you get what I mean? And I feel like when you get a taste of how easy it is, well, I'm not going to say easy because it all takes hard work, or how I attract money in abundance now, I feel like my top is showing. That's what I feel like. Honestly, guys, let me talk about this first. So, going on a blabbing one, clearly, I obviously went through my breakup and stuff, and my therapist and also like one of my friends, she's very spiritual, so she was like, if you really do want to release the energy and let go of like your ex and whatever else, you need to like burn all your pants and like all your pajamas and stuff that if you ever had like sex with him in or whatever else. So I was like, cool. So slowly, obviously I've been like buying myself new pants and underwear and whatever else. And then I've said to myself like 1st of September, I'm getting on all my goals. So obviously I'm not burning anything because I live with my Caribbean grandma, and if I started burning stuff in her house, she'd be like, what the fuck is going on? But essentially, yeah, throughout like all my pants, bras, memories, clothes that don't fit me, because obviously I'm a size 8 now. But even though I'm a size 8, my bottom half is, but my top half, because obviously I've still got boobs, like it's a bit bigger. But I got these pajamas in a size 8 from M&S, and I just think they're so cute and so girly. But I'm just a bit like conscious that you guys might see my boobs. Oh well, might get some more likes and views. But yeah, I don't know where I started with that one. Work-wise, business-wise, I'm just like, just lock it off, because I realise my value, and I feel like in a 9 to 5 environment, people don't understand the way that money's made, and I'm like, okay, but I've got a taster for it. And I actually think I can make more money, so why am I not going to do that? So yeah, if you see me in a couple months, girls, or even like by the end of the month, I'm not even going to lie, I've got an interview after I finish this, I'm going to do like a video interview. So who knows, I could be in a new job or new direction, but I just feel like I'm not made to work in an office. Like I'm not made for a normal job. Although sales, it's like good, and when I started, everyone was like, oh, have you never had a sales, like proper sales role before? Like you're really good, the way that you speak to clients. And I'm like, yeah, of course I am, thank you. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a challenge, but I don't really feel like it's much of a challenge. So yeah, I'm ready to just enter the next phase of my life, get everything set up business wise, and just fucking make some money, girls, to be honest. Dating life. See, I was half and half on this one, because I'm really trying to do hush hush, because I feel like, do you know, sometimes when you speak about your life or your dating life, or that's when things start to go wrong, and I feel like the whole world watched me go through my breakup, and yeah, it was fucking embarrassing. So after that, I just feel like I never want to be a girl that's like, my man, because it's always the girls that my man, and then he cheats on you, and then he this, and then he that. But yeah, long story short, for the girls that do know how I've been living, it's actually been like a dream. As you know, like I said, I'm going to try and date and whatever else, but low-key, I didn't really do that. I've just been dating one guy, and I kind of have a secret, and I didn't want to say about it, but I feel like that's all that you lot asked me about. And please stop asking me for a heartbreak episode or asking about my breakup, because I'm not doing it, okay? So stop asking me because you're not getting it. But about my dating life, I will kind of speak about it a little bit. So essentially, I met this boy, and bearing in mind, I've never gave a boy my number before, so yeah. I met this boy, and obviously he asked for my number, and I don't know what happened to me, because normally when guys ask for my number, I'll just say no, and I just get very like weird about it. So I don't know what came over me. I gave him my number, and this was when I'm in a phase of like, I don't want a boyfriend, I'm not dating anyone, I'm just pouring all this energy into myself, whatever else. Like after I went through my breakup, I was like, I'm just done with men. Obviously my ex was the only guy that I had been with or dated, because I was with him since I was 15, and then I've never actually been on like a date or done any of that. So I told this boy that obviously like, I'm not looking for anything relationship wise, I'm not going to be your girlfriend, I'm not doing any of that business, like I'm not here to just have sex and whatever else, because that's what guys are on. And he was like, no, like I really like you. Basically we had like one conversation, and then after that one conversation he was basically in love with me, and he was like, oh, I want to really date you. And I think for me it's kind of like half and half, because obviously I told you before, like the guys in my DMs and whatever else, and people want to ask to date you and stuff, but I just feel like I wasn't with it. But the circumstances of this guy, it was kind of like I may not see him again. So obviously when I went to see, it's really hard for me because I'm like, how much do I say and how much do I not say? Anyway, I've gone on a date with this guy. And I'm not going to lie, girls, it was the best date I've ever been on in my life. Like, it was such good vibes. It was really nice energy. Conversation was good. And I think what done it for me is when he was speaking about, like, his life and all this. Obviously, guys chat shit. Like, I know men chat shit anyway. That's why I wasn't like, okay, say whatever you want to say. I'm not really here for it. But he was like, I have been praying to God, you know, for a really good woman. I am looking to get into a relationship and whatever else. And at the time, I was like, obviously in my no boyfriend era. And I said to him, like, why don't you try online dating? Like, how are your dates going? Are you dating other girls? And then I was calling him, like, bro and this and that. And I was giving him tips on his dating accounts, actually. That's how we were speaking. He was like, no, I don't want to date anyone else apart from you. I don't want to this. I don't want to that. And then I'm going to have to kind of, like, spill the beans. And I'm just like, oh. Okay, so essentially this boy doesn't live in the UK. I went on a date with him when I went to New York. So yeah, surprise. And then because of like our date and everything, he was like, I'm going to fly, like, you're the one. I'm going to fly over to the UK. And I was like, okay, but you know, guys chat shit. Yeah, he booked the flights like as soon as I left, and he came and seen me like 2 months after. Obviously, we were speaking a little bit here and there, but I'm a really bad texter. I haven't really got time to talk to men, to be honest with you. Like, the only men that I'm trying to speak to are the directors on LinkedIn or, you know, someone like that. So yeah, that was that. And then it was just really nice, and it's like a fairy tale, and it was just like the conversation was just really cute, and the dates were cute, and like the attention and the little things, and yeah, so it was just really, really nice, because especially like I've never felt valued in that way, or like shown love or like caringness or thoughtfulness in that way. And when I was going through my breakup, like, obviously I didn't really go through like a hoe phase. I just was like crying all the time and praying to God. And my biggest prayer when I was kind of like asking about like for a man and stuff, it was like a thoughtful man. He's really fucking thoughtful, a bit too thoughtful. It's a bit scary. So yeah. And then basically that just went really well. It was like 10 out of 10 trip. And then he flew out the month after to come see me again. And I was just a bit like, what the fuck is going on? Because I didn't expect it. He was like, yeah. And then we spent another week together when he basically flew out again. And then after that, obviously, everything was going well and stuff. I flew back to New York. Not for a solo trip this time, girls, to actually spend time and see this guy, basically, and have like a little holiday. And yeah, it was just incredible, because when you are a girl, and I mean this in the nicest, most sincere way, and you are trying to make a relationship work, or you think you're not being valued as much, or you know you deserve better, basically, I would literally sit there with my ex and write like for and against. Bearing in mind I'm a calculated babes, I would write for and against points about staying with this guy. I would question myself in my calendar every time he did something, or like had an argument or ruined something, or I would put it in my calendar to try and remind myself, to force myself that I was going to break up with this person because I thought that I deserved better. And all I can say, guys, is if that is genuinely you, the man is out there. The man that you're wanting to treat you in a certain way, look after you, be caring towards you, plan the dates, like, they're out there. And believe me, there's a few men that do adore me and that will do that for me. So that is what I will say to you. But in all honesty, I think it's kind of gone at my pace, and because I'm kind of getting to know myself and on my own journey, it's like this just fell into place, essentially. And yeah, that New York trip was absolutely beautiful. I came back at the beginning of June, And we just did like loads of cute stuff. Like it wasn't even big stuff because obviously when I went on my solo to New York last time, I kind of did a lot of the big touristy stuff. So yeah, on this one it was more datey stuff, I would say, like cute little dates and like fun little trips and stuff. But it was just really, really beautiful, and I felt calm, I felt at peace. Like I really like it there, and yeah, it was just really good vibes. And then I came back, and obviously my birthday is in July. So he was speaking, he was like, it'd be really nice to go away with you for your birthday and whatever else. And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. Like we can do something, if I've got some time or some annual leave and whatever else. And he was like, no, I'm gonna take you on holiday for your birthday. Like I want to do that. And when guys do this whole thing, like, or maybe that's just past trauma or past relationship that I'm used to, of saying like, oh, I'm going to do this for you, or I'm going to like, he was like, no, I want to fly you out. Like, where would you want to go for your birthday or whatever else? And I actually put Miami on my vision board for my birthday, but financially I didn't think that I'd be able to go there, or like that it was a thing. So I think it was like Miami, Mexico, Italy and somewhere else. And then I said to him like, yeah, that'd be, he was the one saying these, and I was like, oh yeah, cool. Like Miami was on my vision board. And then I got the message. So I got the message that every girl literally dreams of, and it was like basically I'd gone to sleep and I'd woke up to the message, and it was like, babe, pack your bags in, I can't remember what it is. I think I've got a screenshot of it on my phone. Like, babe, pack your bags. In a week and a half, you're going to Miami for your birthday. And I was literally like, what the fuck is going on? And I was kind of like in denial, and I didn't believe that he was actually being serious about it. I just thought he was chatting shit. But yeah, he sent me the message, and it was really cute. It was like, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. I just want to like have a really good time. You're absolutely incredible. You deserve to be spoiled and whatever else. And I was just like, oh, okay. Never had this before. So I was like, cool. And yeah, he sent me all the booking confirmation, my flight details, like hotel details, all of that it was all done, sorted. So I was like, okay, I'm going, I'm going to Miami. And yeah, I think it was like the best birthday I've ever had in my life. Like best birthday, best vibes. Like obviously I came to the studio the night before to record an episode about my lessons of being 24, and I was honestly treated like a princess, and it was really, really nice and really, really beautiful. And I think that's also helped me on my journey a little bit, because it's like when you are trying to increase your value or like what you deserve, I fucking knew what I deserved, let me tell you. Like, I knew what I deserved, and that some man was going to find me and value me. But honestly, like, good vibes, like, really good vibes, really good conversation. I love a guy that has substance. Do you know what I mean? Like, substance, where it's not just, hi, what are you up to? What are you doing? All that bullshit. Like, wants to have those chats. And yeah, essentially, I caught my flight. I went to Miami. I met him at the airport. He literally sorted everything. And this is what I love about being a girl, because I was so masculine in my previous relationship. It's just traumatizing, to be honest with you. But yeah, I just love being a girl. Like when you're around a man and you don't have to think, and he's planned everything, and it's like, just show up, just look beautiful, like do your thing. It was just honestly like so nice. He was like, yeah, I've booked a Michelin star restaurant for your birthday. All you gotta do is show up, just please be on time, because obviously I'm late for everything as usual, and I take my time getting dressed. But like even when I get dressed, like it was just very patient and calm, and like, I don't know, it was just really, really nice. But we had a lit time. Like, Miami's lit. Like, anyone that wants to go to Miami, definitely go, because it's the nice party but relaxation. Like, we did the whole Nikki's Beach, and going to the beach, partying, club. We booked to go see like a boogie. Obviously, we went to like really nice restaurants, cute date nights. But yeah, he's just a really thoughtful guy. So kind of like winning me over here. And part of me is a bit like, oh, I don't know, because I'm trying to like, I'm halfway in between going with the flow, because I'm like, of course I deserve love. Of course I deserve like to be cared for in this way and all of these things, especially if you've never had that as a girl. But then I'm also a bit like, oh, well, I'm just trying to focus on me and whatever else. But I feel like with the whole situation of our situation, it kind of works out because I still have time for myself and whatever else. So yeah, it was really cute, but it was just honestly like the best birthday of my life. Like vibes, like I don't think I even posted on my actual birthday. Like I was just honestly soaking it all in, and I was praying, and I was just like, do you know what, God, thank you. Because the year before, like I had a really horrible birthday, and I really did cry, to be honest. And my previous boyfriend just like didn't make an effort, didn't anything. I didn't even get a gift, didn't get flowers. I got a card, and that was it. So going from bare minimum to a man actually treating me how, in my opinion, I deserve, it was really, really nice. So yeah, I kind of do have a secret, girls, that I feel like I should share, but like, yeah, so I officially have a boyfriend. Long story short, I didn't want to have a boyfriend. I didn't think that I was going to have a boyfriend, but I was like, do you know what? Let me just go with the flow. Let me see how it is, because normally I'm like a calculated babes. Like I have to plan everything. I have to plan life. And I was just sat there thinking like, God, like, why are you doing all of this? Like, why have you put this person into my life? Why are you this? But I think when something just feels natural, and I'm trying my hardest not to be like in my masculine era, trying not to like control every kind of scenario. So yeah, this is me just going with the flow. And to be honest with you guys, like I'm genuinely really happy. I don't think I'm going to post anything much about my relationship. Like if the girls want to know, I'll probably speak about it on a poddy episode. But yeah, I have a boyfriend. No one's going to be seeing him though. And I'm not posting because I just feel like a private relationship is honestly a happy relationship. Like this is honestly the happiest I've ever been in my life, you know, in a relationship, I'll be honest with you girls. And I don't feel the need. I don't anything. Like that's it. The people that know. The people that need to meet him, well, partially have. And essentially that is it. But I think it's nice because if you were to ask me at the beginning of the year, or even this time last year, I was going through hell. Like I was going through hell. I was going through my breakup. I didn't think that I would ever find someone. Like I was so anti like being in a relationship again. That's how like distraught and everything that I was. So for me to actually sit here like a year on and be like, I feel so loved, so thought of, so all of these things, it's really, really nice. Am I sitting here and telling you like, oh, you know, this man's going to be my forever and all of this? No, because I'm not like on that vibe anymore. Like whatever happens. I just know that whatever man God has written for me or destined for me is going to be a really good man. And whether it's this guy now, who's my boyfriend, obviously you hope it is, but if not, I just know that there is a man out there who is going to love me, you know, shower me and take care of me and just be thoughtful. Because I think what's the word that I'm looking for? What is the word that I'm looking for? My idea of love has completely changed. And I think my old idea of love, or what my past relationship has taught me, was like I was so in love where that's all that there was. Like I tried to align my values and morals and stuff like that, but eventually it didn't work. And I think I learned the hard way that love isn't enough, and that there are other things that obviously need to be included in there. Like, you know, obviously you need to have like a lot of respect and a lot of this and a lot of that. But yeah, I feel like my idea of love is changing and I do kind of like it. I know that obviously me being in a relationship is going to be a bit of a thing. But yeah, I'm happy. I feel like I don't need to rave about anything or say anything. It's just, that's it. But in terms of like my dating life, I've been on some of the most incredible dates that I've ever been on my life, which has been really like weird for me. And yeah, the thoughtfulness is there. Like, I love being a girl and having to not ask for a man to do something. And I know what people are going to sit there and think, like, oh, you know, you're in a honeymoon phase, or you're in this, or you're in... I don't think people understand that I'm a guy in a relationship. Like, I'm the bad texter. I'm the one that my phone will die and I will forget to message you. And I'm just disabled like that, basically. But I think with him, like, he's consistent and whatever else. And some of the things you do is like when you really like someone, so I'm like, maybe. But yeah, girls, essentially that is the dating side of things. I feel really awkward now that I've said that out loud, because I really wanted this to be a hush-hush thing, but I know that that's the only thing that everyone always messages me about, because you girls are nosy fuckers. So yeah, now you know, I've spilled the tea with the girls like me. So yeah, and essentially... dream life is a weird one for me, because that's also something that all of you lot were asking about, like, what's my dream life, what's this, what's that. And it's really weird for me, because I've really had to think about this and envision, like, Aalimah, what actually is your dream life? And I'll be honest with you girls, at the beginning of the year, I didn't even have a vision or dream for myself. Like, I'll be honest with you, like, I was that much in a really awkward place in my life. I didn't. But essentially, like, the plan that I wanted maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, is the plan that I'm implementing now, which I feel like is really weird, because my vision kind of went off track. And ultimately, when I stripped it all back and was like, actually, Aalimah, what is it that you really want? Like, where do you see yourself? And yeah, so essentially, obviously, it's like the two businesses. One is the Aalimah Hughes Group, and then two is Hughes Property Investors. And I'm going to do everything like property wise, focus more on like Airbnbs, get that all set up. And then everything like on the AH side is going to be more like business, events, stuff like the podcast. All of that's going to be linked into there. And I think I'm really focused. Obviously, my mission for this year was just falling in love with life, like falling back in love with life. And to be honest, guys, I feel like that's mission accomplished, you know? Like, I genuinely feel really happy and excited, and I'm in a much better place, like a place that I never thought that I would be in. So I'm really happy about that. And then in terms of like where I see myself, like, I could get fucking delusional, to be honest, and I really have been. I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to stay away from people in general, because I'm really going through a period now, or I say I've been really going through a period of isolation, but I haven't. I've been fucking outside too much, and I need to keep my ass inside now, because the savings and everything need to be on point. But yeah, essentially, I am going to put myself in kind of like isolation and just really focus. The next few months are going to be about setting myself up with what I want to be, because I've set myself a goal, and you know, it could be a really big goal to a lot of people. And to be honest, with my current situation now, financially, living, all of that stuff, I want to be in property full time by the time I'm 25. So I obviously turned 24 how many months ago? Nearly 2 months ago. So yeah, I've essentially got 10 months to pull it out the bag, pull it out my arse somewhere. I don't know where the fuck I'm going to get all this money from, but I am. I've got a plan, focus, calculated babes. But yeah, full-time in property. But when it comes to like dream life, and I really want you girls to think about this like on a deeper level. Like, who are you? What are you? Because one thing I've learned is that when it comes to your dream life, there's going to be periods of time where I'm like, oh, can I do that? Or can I? And then you have to physically talk yourself back into delusion. Like, yes, I can. Yes, I can, Aalimah. Like, yes, I can. So I think I've just been going through one of those phases, like questioning everything, especially like work-wise. I was like, am I a failure if I quit this job? But then I'm like, do I really give a fuck about it? Do I this? Like, I was going through all of these things, like, you know, you're not made and destined for a job, but I think it's just that fear of what people think and say. But ultimately, like, dream life, obviously, number one, I want to be a property developer. There's this, like, Is that a bit or is that a fly? Ooh. Yeah. That fly just fucking pissed me off. But yeah, essentially, my dream life is, and I'm going to speak to myself actually, speak to the girls and speak to myself. So, Aalimah Hughes is going to be a multi-millionaire. I don't even know if this is the correct terminology for it. Multi-millionaire who has a property development company. So I really want to get into property development, but property development company. I'm also going to have a serviced accommodation company and brand, which is something that I'm going to work towards. But I think that's going to be something that's developed over a few years. I had it in my mind that I wanted to create holiday spaces and homes that are kind of quirky and different. And I feel like because when I started my business and stuff, I was going through a breakup, I didn't actually have that time and that vision, but that's something I'm going back on now. So property developer, the property business is obviously going to be like the main thing as well. Podcast, I'm going to be a podcast host, and my podcast, hate to break it to you, is going to blow in a matter of time. But that's like a long-term goal. I'm not expecting that to kind of happen over the next few years. And the girls that are here from the get-go, thank you. Like, comment and subscribe. But yeah, ultimately, I see myself as a content creator, to be honest. I can see myself like getting brand deals, working with companies, the dream companies, like I mentioned on my previous episode, that I'd love to work with, like even home interior design, get into like more content-y stuff. I love fashion. I feel like that's something that I want to get into, and I think the passion of actually like helping women in terms of confidence, I don't know if there's going to be a brand there that's kind of linked to AH. I'm still trying to figure that out, but ultimately dream life, I've told you girls time and time again, I don't know how many reels I need to make, I'm going to be the sexy mum, and that is the ultimate dream life of me. I've really been thinking about like my car and my life and my house. Obviously you guys already know that I've got everything to a T planned out for my dream house. It's got certain things in it like a pool, like a massive pantry, walk-in wardrobe, sauna steam room, cinema room, office study. Like I want it all, and I'm gonna get it all, period, simple. In terms of the car that I've always wanted to drive, I've always just wanted a Porsche. I don't know what it is. I'm just a Porsche girl. I'm made to drive in a Porsche. I currently take the bus, but I need to pass my test ASAP. And I realised why I didn't pass my test, which I spoke about before, is I've actually not put it on my vision board to pass my test. The fly's back, guys. I put it on my vision board. And I'm basically a fucking loser, because who on earth fails the driving test twice for speeding? Like I must have mug written across my forehead. But yeah, ultimately I'm gonna get that sorted out before I'm 25. God help me if I don't. Dream life, I'm meant to drive a Porsche. You can see me in a Porsche. So that's that. Obviously, I'm going to have a beautiful family. I was kind of half on half about children and, you know, where you see yourself. Definitely 2 children. But I'm kind of in a phase where I'm like, I will have not as many. I feel like that's a bit carried, but, you know, like a decent amount of kids, like maybe 4 or 5. I don't know what God's got destined for me on that. I think children, as long as my children are kind of healthy, I'm not really fussed about girl, boy. Obviously, everyone romanticizes about stuff like that, but it's more like about healthy children. That's what I want. Obviously, a lovely partner. That'd be nice. Next 5 years, personally, I would love my business to really take off to a point where I'm able to obviously financially help my family. That's really big on me. My living situation, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I have it on the vision board to move out before the end of the year. Right now, it's not looking very likely, but I believe in myself and I know that I'm going to pull that out of the bag, because to really get to this next phase, I need to just be around my own energy, my own environment, which I don't feel like I've got. So that's on there. Ultimately, you know, I did want to move to London. I think that's still on there. If not London, I've been thinking about potentially moving out of the country. I don't know, just feeling a bit spontaneous. I might just see where the wind takes me, so I can't definitely like tell you 100% where I'm going to be at that point. But ultimately, dream life, I just feel like there's so many different things that I want to do. For me to put it into one episode would be very, very hard. But yeah, I can just see myself like getting up in the morning, going to I really enjoyed Pilates, by the way. I forgot to tell you guys that. Obviously, I tried that. Went to my first Pilates class before. Amazing. Now I understand why the girls are skinny, because let me tell you, it looks easy, but I was burning. I swear to God, I was burning in that class. So definitely wake up, cutesy vibes, Pilates or gym or whatever it is. Like obviously I'm getting back into PT, go see my PT, and essentially just like be that mum, wife. I've seen a lot of people like girlfriendpreneur or wifepreneur. I think that's going to be me. Obviously building your brand and building yourself. But I think in terms of like my dream life, it's kind of changed, because before I used to envision my dream life about like materialistic things, like, oh, I'd want this or I'd want that. And I think I do want all of those things. For me to sit here and be like, oh, I'm partially not materialistic, I would be lying to you guys, because I do want the car, I do want the bags, I do want the house, I do want the clothes. Like, I deserve it. I deserve it all. I deserve the love. I deserve absolutely everything. But yeah, I think in terms of like dream life, for me, it's more financially being able to afford a nice lifestyle, being able to travel. Travel has been a really big thing for me, and I just really want to see the world. Like, I've got so many cool trips planned, which I think the guy that I'm dating has really helped on that, because he has obviously travelled. Like, he's been to Australia, he's been here, he's been there. We said that we want to go to Japan together. I don't know when that's going to happen. I think it might happen next year, but I know obviously Japan is like an expenny one. Because one of my friends that's been there, she kind of like sent me her itinerary of where she went, how much it cost, her trips, her this, her that. So yeah, thinking to do that. But in terms of traveling, lifestyle, I just feel like I'm truly walking into a phase where I've never been before. And it's like, I seen a quote the other day, and I know where the quote's from because I fucking read the book, and it's A Mountain of You, which I completed, by the way, girls. Thank you. Yeah, and it was like, your old life will cost you your new one. And to be honest with you, I've kind of been holding on to my old life, and you know, the love and the relationship and the family and this, and I feel like I'm doing all those things to let go slowly. For example, the pants and everything, binned. Diet, health on top. Like, there's slowly things that I'm putting in place to let go of that old lifestyle, because essentially this new version of Aalimah, although I'm still here, I'm not, because I am growing, I am learning, I am like developing and doing all of these things. So it is, you know, really nice. It has been really hard, and sometimes there is a lot of uncomfortable situations. Normally I feel like I've been a lot more comfortable, and the past month and a half has really been uncomfortable for me, especially trying to navigate through work, finances, what's the correct path to take. But I think obviously growth is uncomfortable, and my new life is going to cost me my old life, and ultimately I'm ready for that. I'm ready. And that's it. I don't think you can ever fully prepare yourself for anything, you know, financially or whatever else. But I just know that everything's working in the right way. Like, obviously I said, by the end of this year, I want to be debt free. Like, even though I've been traveling and I've been doing, like, God has blessed me so much, guys, and I really want you to understand that. Like, if you see me ever speak about anything money-wise, financial-wise, health-wise, just know that it's taken years for me to get here. But ultimately, I have everything because I'm a blessed girly, and every time I pray to God, I always get something, and I'm truly have to hold my hands up because I've been so blessed. But yeah, this year I've been able to travel. I've been able to like pay off a lot of debt. I am actually going to be debt free by the end of the year, and I'm really ecstatic about it. Like, for example, every last month in August, I think I paid off £1,700 worth of, like, when I say debt, it's not like debt collectors and stuff like that. It's like good debt and bad debt. You know, we've all got things on like credit cards. I had PayPal. I had a student overdraft. But ultimately, I'm going to be debt-free before the end of the year, and that feels really, really good, because towards the vision of me being, you know, a property developer and all of that, I'm going to need my credit score, I'm going to need everything in order. So it's really just being mindful and being intentional about my life. And I feel like I really have been able to implement things where I am intentional. I'm intentional about how I want to look. I'm intentional about how I want to feel. I'm intentional about all these little things. And I truly feel like I'm growing as a person. And it's nice because in terms of my dream life, obviously I've spoke about it a bit about like where I want to go, brand deals, content, my podcast, YouTube, property wise. But ultimately, like my dream life, I can't sit here and tell you, because whatever I sit here and tell you guys, it's going to be 100 times better than that. Like I just know it and I just feel it and I see it. And I think when people often ask me like, how do you know that everything's going to work out for you? How do you like feel about certain scenarios and whatever else? I'm like, how can I not think that everything's going to work out for me? Because it always has. And I think that's what people need to realize and understand. Like when you put yourself in a situation or environment, all it can do is work out. Like if you genuinely give it your all, and also you're doing it for the right purposes and you have the right intentions, and you know in your heart if you have or you haven't. And I feel like I have, like, even if you don't know me or you see me from social media or whatever else, and you may think whatever else, but I swear to God, I'm doing it from a really good place in my heart. And everything kind of always works out for me because everything flows to me abundantly. I am a very blessed girl. I'm going to get everything that I deserve because I am worthy. I am, what's the word that I'm looking for? Yeah, I'm worthy. I'm deserving. But I think it's coming from a point of I've never been this confident in my life. Like I've never been this confident. I've never been this driven as I am now. And I feel like I'm truly stepping into an era that is going to cost me my old life, because I'm not going back. And I said this before to you guys, like I'm not going back. The old Aalimah, like even diet wise, I put on a bit of weight, guys, and straight back into the routine, because when you start to get into those bad habits again, that's when you need to pull it back. And I feel like I'm pulling it back. Anytime I might slip off, or I think, I can't be arsed, or have a bad day, like constantly pulling myself back. And I just feel like part of getting to know me, or whatever you see on there, like for the girls that are on here for the journey, or you kind of figuring stuff out for yourself, like stay patient. That's all I can say to you. Stay patient, because everything will work out, and everything does work out in the end. And I'm a firm believer of that. So dream life, work-wise, business-wise, I know that I'm going to watch this podcast probably in about 6 months' time. And I know that I'm going to be making 3 to 4 times as much money as I currently am. Bless you, Chase. Because that's genuinely what has happened in my life, and that's what's happening. And I think, I'll be honest with you, I feel a level of peace as well, because like today I came to the podcast studio and I went shopping, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I spent hella money in the past few days, like just silly amounts of money, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? But I was coming here and I was like shopping. Obviously I went to M&S to get myself some pajamas and food bits and whatever else, and just showering myself with everything that I deserve. And I was like, Aalimah, you've actually got money in all of your accounts. And I was like, this feels so nice, because last year I was in a position where I was like minus in my overdraft. Like I'm not even going to lie to you guys, I was like minus in my overdraft. I was like, how am I going to get through this? And you're scrimping and scraping for the bills. And I swear to God, like money's just flowing. Like it's flowing. I'm getting the bookings through. I'm getting the direct clients through. And I feel like that's how I truly know that I'm going to become this version of myself, or whatever else is coming, because it's all working out. And every time I'm like, oh, can I do this? Or I'm just like, just bet on yourself, just go with it. And I think each time I do, I'm rewarded with it. And something that I also have done, so for those of you that know like about how I funded my business and everything, I started off because I got 4 jobs. So I was working full-time in a job. This is on top of actually being a student as well. So I was in my final year of university when I was doing all of this. But I don't even care if they see it, but I got some cash in hand jobs, a full-time job and another like part-time job. And essentially that's how I saved all the thousands of pounds in my business to invest and stuff like that. And there's been some times where they will message me, like a few of my old bosses, and they'll be like, can you help out today? Or can you this and can you that? And I have this thing where it's like, it's not guilty, but it's like, yeah, I'll go. You know, like if I feel like I'm not doing anything, I'll go. But I think the next phase of myself really requires dedicated time. It's like my time is valuable, and for me to really reach that next step, I need to understand that. And I've got one boss who's actually a friend, and this weekend I actually worked for her. We went out for dinner for the first time this week on Wednesday as well, and her mum came, and her daughter, who I've seen grow up, and I worked with her at the Gay Pride. It's like in the, what's it called? It's like a candy store, so they do candy floss and sweets and donuts and crepes and whatever else, and I make the crepes in there and sell the sweets and stuff. And I worked with another one of my friends, and it just felt like really old times, because I was like, this is what I used to do when I was 16 as a summer job and stuff like that. And she was like, I'm really proud of you, I'm really this. But it's like, I am now in a position from going for 4 jobs where I couldn't even afford to eat, couldn't even afford to pay my bills, to now go in there knowing that I actually don't need the money. I'm just there to genuinely help out. I'm there for a laugh. I'm there to see people. I'm there to, you know, and it was such a nice thing to do. But I think I've said to myself that I'm no longer going to work like on weekends and stuff. Obviously, that person, her name's Sarah, I have like a lot of love for her, basically. So sometimes if she's generally struggling, like I know she's going through Christmas, I will still help her. Like I will do that, because she's like family to me. And honestly, when I was genuinely going through hard times, she was really there for me when I needed someone. So I feel like I'd always just go back to help and whatever else, even if it's not money related. But anything else, I've said to myself, I'm not gonna like work extra. I'm not gonna do anything extra like that where it's like per hour. I'm not working per hour. I'm not worth £10-11 per hour. I'm not worth £12 per hour. I'm worth hundreds of pounds per hour. And I think that's where my energy and mindset is going in at the moment. So obviously I spoke last time and I was like, I'm really trying to shape my mindset when it comes to money and whatever else. And I was like, that's something that I'm focusing on. So essentially what I've been working on at the moment, from obviously being a property manager, is more like software stuff. So like all your spreadsheets getting set up, everything that you would need, or everything that people constantly send me DMs about, I'm just going to give them. And I'm going to charge them for it, essentially, because ultimately, when I was even managing that many properties, I know all the struggles, I know all of this. So I'm going to be launching a few products over the next 2.5 months. Some of them are already set up, some of them aren't. But yeah, basically that's what I'm going to do. But I've been trying to work on the branding and stuff for that to essentially pay me for my time, because my mindset now is like, if I work a job, or for example my job at the moment, whatever you pay me in an hour, can I make that somewhere else? And it's like, when you do stuff like this, okay, it's going to take me time to set up, but essentially once it's all set up and you just buy it, that's it. My time is not invested in it, it's not in it. And I think that's where I'm trying to focus a lot more on, me not physically always being there and putting the time and stuff like that in, because my time is valuable. And if you are an entrepreneur and obviously you want to just live your fucking life as you deserve and do whatever it is, because I have said it so many times that I belong on a beach, I belong traveling, I belong doing all those things. That's what I'm trying to work on, and also multiple streams of income. So obviously at the moment, the biggest one is obviously property, and then also my job. But to be honest with you, the job ain't going to be there much longer. And then it's just having other streams of income to obviously get me to that 10k per month, which is my goal, obviously, for my 25th birthday. So fingers crossed. I'm really, really hoping that it works out for me. And I'm praying that it does. I have a really good feeling that it will, personally. It's going to take a lot of hard work and dedication, but I feel like I'll be able to get there. And then I feel like that goal from 10 grand to whatever else it is just going to be like a nice little jump. But the past few months, I feel like I've just been enjoying the journey. I've been enjoying, figuring out stuff content-wise, like figuring out what it is that I want, what it is that's like my niche, as people say, even though sometimes I don't feel like I fit into a niche. But yeah, just figuring it all out. I've really, really enjoyed it. But in terms of like life updates and stuff like that, obviously I've just fucking aired out my whole business on this podcast. So thanks for that. But yeah, I hope that you guys obviously see that like this is the only space that I'd really be intimate on. Like as much as you see people that will like posts and content and stuff like that, I'm not really someone who wants to air out their whole business. So yeah, it's just for the girls, on the podcast. But yeah, everything is kind of moving in the right direction. I am happy. Obviously, I've told you, like, dating wise and relationship wise and whatever else. That is one thing that I can't obviously promise I don't know where that's going to end up, to be honest with you, but it is what it is kind of vibe. But yeah, I feel very weird that I've shared some stuff today. I didn't think I was. I knew that I was going to do this episode, but I didn't think that I was going to speak about it. But when I was in the moment, I was like, do you know what? Let me just get it out, because you can't tell half a story. Do you get what I mean, guys? You got to tell the whole fucking thing. So yeah, you've kind of heard that. And in terms of like anything else that's going on in my life, I feel like I can't speak about it yet because it's not done. Obviously I've told you about kind of future things and whatever else, but everything else, like, I can't have a girly chit chat about it because I'm halfway through it, or I'm living in it, or God knows what. But yeah, I think there's just been so many situations that have been going on in the past month. Probably why I fell off a bit. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, this has been my most productive month ever, but it's also been a month where I have fell off on other things that I've been slacking on. But yeah, just trying to be a calm girl. And I feel like sometimes being a calm girl, especially with me, like, I'm not even going to lie to you guys, I'm a bit of a hothead sometimes. And I can, like, lose or snap or whatever it is. I feel like I'm so passionate and I'm so, and there's been certain situations where I've just had to shut my mouth and literally be calm, because rather than it, ruining a whole day or whatever else, I just feel like, for example, in the nail shop, so I went and got my nails done this week, and these are really cute nails, these are my Biab nails. Last time I got Biab, they weren't as all long, like, these are actually my nails as well, which is stunning. But yeah, so I'd done that. I'd gone into the shop and I was like, yeah, I want a pedicure, I want Biab on my hands, Biab on my feet. Now, Biab is not really known on the feet, but I'm a fussy girl, so I want the exact same colour. So if I'm going to have Biab on my nails, I can't be having another colour gel. And they was like, yeah, that's fine, we've done that for you last time, whatever else. So I was like, sit down, do it. So they're doing my nails now, and the nail man, he, on this finger here, he spilt it all down my nail. So do you know sometimes when it goes into that cuticle bit, because it's Biab and it's like a gel, if it was to go into the light and come back, it would have just snapped, but not snapped, but it would have dried, and then the whole thing would have peeled off the nail bit as well. So I was like, excuse me, it's just spilt a little bit, like, can you wipe it off? He was like, oh, sorry, yeah, no problem, it's cool with me. Then, because of that, he went and did like a whole nother layer on my nail. So ultimately, this one that you see here was a lot darker than the other ones. So then I was like, oh, okay. I was like, excuse me, like, this nail's like 10 times darker, so do you mind just doing like a layer on all of them? He was like, yeah, that's fine, no problem. Next thing you know, after that, obviously that must have pissed him off a little bit, because even the next person was looking like, oh God. Then he told me that we don't do Biab on your toes. Sorry, we don't do that here. And I was just thinking in my head, do you know what? Bearing in mind, I didn't even say it rudely. I was very calm. I was very polite, like how I'm speaking. I was like, no, like, that one's just a little bit darker. Do you understand? Like, I always try to do that. And essentially, he tried to tell me in the shop that they don't do Biab on your toes. And I was just like, I was trying to explain to him, the Biab on my toes right now is from this shop. So yes, you do Biab. He was like, no one does it here. We don't do it. Then the owner of the shop walked in and I thought, I know you. So I was like, homegirl, Marina, I need my Biab toes doing. She was like, okay, go sit down. And I thought, But that guy literally pissed me off, and I had to not even get there, but he was like telling me for 5 minutes straight that we don't do Biab on feet, we don't do Biab on feet. And I was like, you do, because the Biab on my toes is from this shop. Anyway, long story short, the shop was actually meant to close at like 6:30. So because I'd been going back and forth with him and whatever else, the shop was essentially closing. So she was doing the Biab on my feet, and then she was like, actually, do you want a pedicure and stuff? And to that point, that's when something would usually just piss me off. You know when someone just pissed you off for no need? And do you know, if I was mean or like I was a bit rude, or I would understand, but I genuinely was so calm and spoke to this man nicely. He must have just been having a bad day or was pissed off in general. But something like that, it would just piss me off. I was so in the point of like, I'm never coming back to this. What was going through my head was like, I'm never coming back to this shop. They've lost me as a customer. Their customer service, bearing in mind, I've been to the same nail shop since I was 16, yeah. That's how long I've been going to the shop. bad customer service, I'm never coming back here, da, 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 da. And then all these negative thoughts were coming into my head, and I was like, Aalimah, just chill the fuck out, yeah? And then the minute that I said chill the fuck out, calm down, stop thinking all these things, that's when the normal girl that does my nails, Jennifer, she was there. She's like, oh, come sit down, da, da, da. And then bless her soul, she was like, do you want to do a pedicure? She was like, I'll stay longer, obviously, I know what's happened. I'll do your feet, I'll do your pedicure. I was like, please, if you can. And part of me was like, yeah, whatever else. And I think obviously they know that when I go to the nail shop now, I never used to be able to afford a tip. Normally I gave a £10 tip when I do my nails, but because she actually stayed longer as well, I gave her a £20 tip, which was nice. But just scenarios like that, like on a normal day, if something like that would have happened, I would be like, do you know what, fucking, I can't be arsed, I'm not going there. Bearing in mind, I was late, I had 100 other things to do, but I just sat there and I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to be cool. I'm going to be chill. And then it's like when stuff like that happens family-wise and, you know, everything else, I'm just now shutting my mouth. And I think that has honestly saved me so much. Just being able to actually like be quiet and shut my mouth has really helped me, because sometimes as a girl, and especially if you're like a strong, you know, like I consider myself to be like a really strong-minded, strong-willed, like when I speak passionately, like I'm confident and whatever else. But I think sometimes you need to just know, like, if you are going to grow, if you are going to develop, you need to carry yourself in a certain way, which I think I always have done, you know, people have said that, but I think it's more like I'm now picking up on these trends and these behaviours when I can. So it's like, if I know that I'm going to do something, let me just not. And it's like the other day I wanted to pop off at my manager because, sorry, this is another reason as well. This episode, I better not make no reel out of this, because if I ain't left my job yet, I might get sacked. But essentially, this man, I don't know what it is with certain men. They just be like speaking to you like you're a dickhead. And you know me, obviously, they don't know I have a business or this and that. And I'm like a humble person in that respect, because I don't really go into a workplace and be like, I'm this, I'm that. I just want to do my job and go home, and that's it. I don't want to be seen, I don't want to be heard. I want to do my job and go home. That's it. For some reason, I don't know what I've done to upset this man, but he just speaks to me like a dickhead. And he doesn't know who the fuck he's speaking to sometimes. But it's come to a point where it's like, other people in the team are like, why is he speaking to you like this? Like, da, da, da. And let's say they do something or he does something, but I do it, I get in trouble for it. But bearing in mind, sometimes I'll like forget little bits and bobs and whatever else, especially being like dyslexic and stuff. If I start something, sometimes I won't finish it, I'll move on to something else and then whatever else. But I'm usually like an organised person. And he just popped off at me about something like, why hasn't this been? Bearing in mind, it was such a minute thing, and I was covering for another person's desk who's fucking busy, the busiest in the business, and I was doing it as the new starter. He's popping off at me at something, and he must just spoke to me, and the way that I had it in me to turn around and tell him, who the fuck are you speaking to? Because you ain't speaking to me like I'm a dickhead. But I didn't. You know, I was really nice. I didn't turn around and tell him to go suck at his mum when that was going through my brain. Instead, I went to the gym. I had on like a nice little meditation as I was walking to the gym. I went to the gym, I let out some endorphins, I went home and I prayed. And that's what I did. And I feel like that is real growth, because sometimes you want to tell people, especially people that don't know me, because there's people out there that really think like I'm a calm, quiet, shy girl. And if that's you, I love that impression for you, but that's not actually who I am. I have a mouth, and I've never been someone that's afraid to speak, let me tell you. But yeah, I just really wanted to tell him to go something, and I didn't. So yeah, that's growth. But I feel like all these little situations, normally I would have been like, oh, and then I would have been like, called my friend like, do you know, my manager just tried to da, 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 da. But I didn't. And sometimes it's like, it's not even worth your energy. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, as a girl, we can let all these little things like take up our headspace or our mind and whatever else. And I just feel like I don't know what's going on in his life for him to be acting like that, but clearly it's a problem. Do you get what I mean? And same with the nail man. Like, I'm sorry, but if I was genuinely rude to you, I would understand, but I wasn't. And the reason why I'm never rude to people in the nail shop is because my mum is a rude girl in the nail shop. Like, she's that awful customer that you hate. And because I've watched her be that in the nail shop for years, it cringes me. So I'm always polite. And the amount of times where I've not been happy with my nails because I don't want to speak, because of I don't want to be like my mum in the nail shop, is real. But I'm sorry, But yeah, I just feel like everything's coming together, girls, in terms of the way that I am focusing my energy, the way that I'm speaking, the way that I am, working on those silent things, my mental health, my fitness, yeah, loads of little bits. I'm clearing out old energy and making room for new everything that is coming through. But life update wise, I'll have to do another poddy like this in a few weeks to give you an update, because to be honest with you guys, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't even know where I'm going to be in the next 2 months. I've low-key been applying for houses as well. Obviously, a goal of mine was to move out before the end of the year. I said it's not going to be very likely financially, but not even low-key, high-key, I think I'll be able to sort it out. So yeah, I might still be in this job with my manager speaking to me like a dickhead, or I might be, working, God knows, in your local Aldi or Tesco or whatever it is. But yeah, essentially, I just feel like I'm so ready to give this next chapter my all. Be uncomfortable, there is a lot less crying at the beginning. I think when I first started my podcast, it was a bit emotional. I was still like going through certain things and I was a bit more of a crying girl, but I'm more of a happy girl these days and it feels really, really nice. But yeah, it's been nice for you guys to actually hear a bit of gossip of what's going on in my life. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to be sharing everything on there, so if you see anything, you see anything. If you don't, you don't. Simple as. But yeah, I think I'm happy. Everything's going in the right direction, and I'm just praying that everything continues and everything works out, which it will, because I have so much faith in myself. And if you are genuinely watching this and you're a girl like me who's trying to figure it out, life can be hard and life can just be weird, and sometimes you just need to go with the flow, and that's what I am doing. I'm not someone who's planned out every aspect of my life at the minute. I'm just going with the flow. I'm figuring it out. I am, figuring it out, and I think I've been in a lot of situations that's uncomfortable, especially like in my dating life, like how I've mentioned bits and bobs to you. Like, that's been really uncomfortable for me, but lovely at the same time and really beautiful. But yeah, guys, that is where I am going to leave the episode for today. Please, 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 because you're getting what you want out of me. So I need to get something out of you guys too. If you want to see more content like this, please. Yeah, if you could follow the podcast, depending on what platform you watch it on, like, comment, subscribe. I'd really, really appreciate it. And obviously let me know your thoughts. A few of you have been DMing me about stuff that you want to see more from me. So if you think of anything, let me know. But yeah, guys, that is it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you later.